"Tourists like you can't afford this painting," she said, not knowing he was Ozzy Osbourne. ***, have you ever judged someone, only to discover they were the one person who could change your entire life? This is the story of a struggling artist's biggest mistake and her greatest blessing. Before the story continues, please subscribe to our channel Voices of Darkness, and like and share this video with your friends. If you love Ozzy Osbourne, then share this video and help us hit our 1,000 subscribers target. Prove your love. ***, the day everything changed. Florence, Italy. A city where every street looks like an oil painting and every corner breathes history. But hidden inside a narrow alley, away from tourists and flashing cameras, sat a tiny art shop named Luna's Colors. The shop was owned by a quiet, struggling 27-year-old artist named Luna Marchetti. Her shop smelled of old wood, wet paint, and broken dreams. Luna's hard life. Luna wasn't famous. She wasn't rich. She wasn't even stable. Her father had passed away 3 years ago, leaving her with debts, sadness, and one tiny shop he had worked his whole life to build. The shop was all she had, and even that was barely surviving. Every day she painted with the hope that someone, anyone, would see her soul on canvas. Most customers walked in, clicked some pictures, and left. Nobody bought anything. Nobody believed in her. But Luna kept painting because it was the only thing she was good at, and the only thing that kept her alive. The most precious painting in the center of her shop hung a painting wrapped in a black silk cloth. The painting she made the night her father died, the painting she promised she would never sell, a masterpiece titled "The Man Who Saved My Soul," a mysterious silhouette of a man standing under a lamppost in the rain. The same night Luna had nearly taken her own life, and a stranger stopped her with a single sentence: "Your story isn't over yet." She never saw his face clearly, but she painted him anyway. She painted her savior, the man who unknowingly saved her. Her father always said, "Someday, someone special will recognize the soul in this painting." She never believed him, not until that day. The entrance of a strange tourist. It was a quiet afternoon when the doorbell chimed. Dung. Luna looked up, expecting another group of tourists who would browse, smile politely, and leave without buying anything. But instead, a tall man with long messy hair stepped in. Black coat, shaky steps, round glasses. He held a small walking cane, not for style, but because age had begun whispering its weight. His face was hidden behind the glasses, and Luna didn't recognize him. Nobody would imagine a global rock legend strolling alone in a tiny alley art shop in Florence. But there he was, Ozzy Osbourne, alone, unrecognized, looking for peace. Luna's first impression: he looked like a quiet tourist, maybe retired, wandering the city, trying to escape the noise. Luna thought, he probably can't afford anything here. He looks tired, maybe hungry. She didn't judge him harshly. She just didn't want another person wasting her time. "Buongiorno," she offered politely. Ozzy nodded with a soft, tired smile. He whispered, "You have a beautiful shop." But Luna shrugged. "I'm not sure it's beautiful. Nobody buys anything." Ozzy chuckled softly. "That doesn't mean it's not beautiful." Those words struck her, because they sounded exactly like the words her father used to say. But Luna ignored it and focused on work. He walked toward the covered painting. Ozzy slowly wandered the shop, touching each painting gently, as if listening to their heartbeat. His fingers trembled slightly. Age, life, pain, everything sat heavy on his hands. But when he reached the painting covered in black silk, he stopped, dead still. His breath caught. He didn't know what painting was underneath, but his soul did. He whispered, almost to himself, "This one's calling to me." Luna quickly stepped forward. "Sir, that painting is not for sale," she said firmly. "It's very expensive. Tourists like you cannot afford it." The words slipped out of her mouth before she realized how harsh they sounded. Ozzy blinked. He didn't get angry. He didn't get offended. He just gave a faint, amused smile, the kind of smile only a man who has seen life from the top and bottom could give. "That's so," he said quietly. "Maybe you're right. Maybe I can't." Luna didn't understand why he wasn't offended. She just thought he accepted her warning, didn't know the truth. She didn't know that she had just told a multi-millionaire rock legend that he wasn't rich enough. She didn't know she had spoken those words to Ozzy Osbourne himself. "May I see it?" Ozzy touched the black cloth lightly. "Please," he whispered. "Just let me see what's underneath. I won't buy it. I just want to look." Luna hesitated. Nobody had ever asked to see that painting. but something in his voice felt familiar, a softness, a sadness, a brokenness, the same brokenness she had the night she painted it. She slowly pulled the cloth down, and Ozzy froze. His cane almost slipped from his hand, his lips parted, a tear, small and silent, slid from behind his glasses. He whispered, "I know this moment. I know this night. I was there." Luna's heart stopped. "What?" Ozzy swallowed hard, voice shaking. "I remember. A girl crying near the bridge. I told her her story wasn't over." Luna staggered back. The brush fell from her hand. Her throat closed. Her heart felt like it had stopped beating, because she realized, after 3 years, after searching for meaning, after a lifetime of believing her father's words were just hope, the stranger from the rain, the man who saved her, was standing in her shop, in front of his own painting. Luna couldn't breathe. Her fingers trembled as she stared at the man standing in front of her, her savior, her miracle, her ghost from the rain. And now, standing in her tiny shop, was the same man she once thought she would never meet again. Ozzy Osbourne, but she still didn't fully believe it. Her lips parted but no sound came out. She stepped back as if she was seeing a spirit. The painting behind them glowed under the soft light, the painting of the shadowed man under a lamppost, rain falling around him, and a girl crying on the bridge. The exact moment Ozzy had just described, the exact moment Luna had never told another soul. "How do you know that night?" she whispered. Ozzy loosened his coat, leaned slightly on his cane, and sighed as if the memories hurt to breathe. "Because I remember the way your voice sounded when you cried," he said quietly. Even after all these years, Luna felt her knees weaken. Her heart pounded so loud she feared he could hear it. The night Ozzy saved her life. Ozzy took a shaky breath, looking at the painting again, almost afraid to touch it. "That night," he said, "I was walking alone after a show rehearsal. I wanted quiet. I wandered the old bridge, and I saw you." Luna felt tears prick the corners of her eyes. "You were sitting on the edge," Ozzy continued, "cold, soaked, shaking, staring at the water like it had all the answers." Luna's vision blurred. She had buried that memory deep inside her heart, the night she almost ended everything, because life felt too heavy and too cruel. But someone had stopped her. A man she thought she would never see again. "I didn't know who you were," she whispered. "I never saw your face." Ozzy smiled sadly. "Well, that's because it was raining like hell and my hair was in my face." He chuckled, trying to lighten the moment, but his voice cracked. "I didn't want to scare you. I just knew you needed someone to say something." Then he repeated the same words he told her 3 years ago, the words that saved her. "Your story isn't over yet." Luna covered her mouth with her hands. "I saw be escaping. I painted that moment the very next morning," she whispered through tears. "I promised myself I would never forget the voice that saved me." Ozzy blinked rapidly, trying to hide the emotion in his eyes. "I never forgot you either," he admitted quietly. "I always wondered what happened to the girl I met on that bridge." Shock turns into realization. Luna wiped her tears quickly, embarrassed. "I can't believe this is happening," she whispered. "I told you tourists like you couldn't afford that painting." Ozzy laughed, not mocking, but warm, amused, gentle. "That line might be the funniest thing anyone's ever said to me," he said, lifting his glasses a little. "I didn't know," she said, face burning with embarrassment. "And that's why I didn't correct you," Ozzy replied softly. It felt peaceful, being treated like a regular person, not like a rock star, not like a legend, just a man. Luna nodded slowly, the embarrassment fading into understanding. "So you never planned to buy the painting?" she teased weakly. Ozzy tilted his head. "Oh no," he smirked. "I planned to buy half your shop until you told me I couldn't afford it." They both laughed, the first shared moment of warmth between two broken souls who once met as strangers on a bridge. Luna's story, the truth behind the painting. Ozzy rested his hand gently on the painting's frame. "You painted this the next morning?" he asked softly, as if speaking to something sacred. Luna nodded. "I didn't sleep that night," she whispered. "You saved my life, and I didn't even know your name, but I knew how it felt when you spoke. Your voice, it pulled me back." Ozzy's throat tightened. "I've battled my own darkness," he murmured. "I know what that edge looks like. I'm glad you stepped back." Luna bit her lip. "After that night, I promised myself I would live. For my father, for my art, for myself, and maybe, one day, I'd find the man who saved me." Ozzy swallowed the lump forming in his throat. And you did, he whispered. The moment Ozzy lost control, Ozzy lifted the painting carefully, looking at every brushstroke, but suddenly, he froze, his hand shook, his breathing became uneven. Ozzy, Luna asked, stepping closer. He didn't respond. He was staring at the face of the painted silhouette, the faint outline of himself. But next to the shadow, in the reflection of the rain, Luna had painted something else. His younger self, his youth, his pain, his loneliness, his struggle, the man he once was, the man he was afraid to show the world, the man he thought nobody understood. Luna had captured it. Without knowing who he was, Ozzy stepped back as a deep, painful memory hit him like a wave. My God, he whispered, you painted the part of me the world never sees. Luna blinked, confused. I just painted what I felt from your voice that night. It felt lonely, like you had saved me, but you couldn't save yourself. Ozzy's eyes filled with tears. You saw me, before you even knew me. For a moment, the shop stayed silent, except for Luna's soft breathing and Ozzy's shaking exhale. Luna offers a chair, a moment of kindness. Ozzy, sit, she said quickly, pulling a wooden chair forward. You're shaking. I'm fine, he said, but he clearly wasn't. His knees were weak. His hands trembled uncontrollably. He lowered himself into the chair, wiping his eyes with the back of his hand. Sorry, he said with a weak laugh. I didn't mean to fall apart in your shop. But Luna shook her head gently. You saved me when I was falling apart, she whispered. It's only fair I return the favor. Ozzy smiled through tears. You already did, the moment you removed that cloth. When the truth hurts more than the Ozzy sat in the small wooden chair in the middle of Luna's shop, breathing unevenly, his cane resting against his knee. The shop was quiet, the kind of silence that carries truth in every corner. Luna stood in front of him, her hands nervously wringing the edge of her apron. She didn't know what to say, and Ozzy, he didn't know how to speak. His eyes remained fixed on the painting, the one she created from memory, from emotion, from survival. And within that painting, he saw something he had spent decades trying to forget. His past, his pain, his loneliness, his chaos. He saw it all. Ozzy breaks the silence after what felt like minutes. Ozzy finally exhaled. Luna, he whispered, you don't just paint what you see. You paint what people hide. Luna looked confused, embarrassed. I didn't. I wasn't trying to intrude. Ozzy shook his head weakly. You didn't intrude. You understood. She swallowed. I only painted what I felt from your voice that night. Ozzy's lips twitched into a sad smile. You felt more truth in a 10-second moment under the rain than the world has felt from me in 50 years. Luna took a small step closer. Your voice saved me. Of course I felt it. Ozzy closed his eyes. Those words, simple, honest, hit him harder than the screams of a stadium crowd. A shadow from the back room just then. The backroom curtain slid aside. A woman stepped out, older, sharp-featured, wearing a blazer too expensive for the humble little shop. Her name was Eliza Romano, the gallery owner Luna had been trying and failing to impress for years. Elisa's eyes narrowed instantly as she saw the emotional scene. She walked forward with calculated confidence. Luna, she said coldly, I told you to store that old painting. It's sentimental nonsense, not marketable. Ozzy stiffened. Luna swallowed. Eliza, the gallery owner raised a hand sharply. And I told you, she continued, that tourists come here for bright colors and simple views, not dark, depressing silhouettes. Ozzy's eyes flashed behind his glasses. Luna tried to remain calm. Eliza, please, not now. I'm with a customer. Eliza laughed mockingly. Him. He looks like he wandered in by accident. No offense, sir, but this shop has nothing in your price range. Ozzy's grip tightened on his cane. Luna stepped forward nervously. Eliza, please stop. But Eliza wasn't done humiliating her. You keep painting these dramatic, emotional scenes that will never sell. You're wasting your time. And mine. Ozzy leaned forward in his chair, voice low but deadly calm. You're wrong. Eliza blinked. I beg your pardon. Ozzy pointed at the covered painting. That piece, he said, is priceless. Elisa scoffed. Oh please, what would you know about art? Luna closed her eyes, bracing for disaster. Ozzy removes his glasses slowly. Deliberately, Ozzy reached up and removed his glasses. Elisa's face drained of color. Her knees nearly buckled because the man sitting in front of her in a tiny alley shop in Florence wasn't just any tourist. He was Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, rock legend, global icon. A man whose very name could sell out arenas. Elisa stuttered. Mr. Osbourne. Her voice cracked. I didn't realize I had no idea. Ozzy interrupted her quietly. I liked that she didn't recognize me, because she spoke from her heart, not my fame. Elisa swallowed hard. But the painting, you said, priceless. Ozzy stood slowly, using his cane for balance. He walked toward Luna, not Eliza. I don't care about fame, he said softly, eyes on Luna, but I care about truth. And this painting is truth. Luna felt her throat tighten. Elisa tried to recover, bowing her head dramatically. Mr. Osbourne, please, allow my gallery to represent this piece. I can make it the centerpiece of a special exhibit. Ozzy didn't even look at her. No. Eliza froze. No, she repeated. Ozzy pointed his cane directly at her. You treated her like she was worthless. A beat. She is the most gifted artist I have seen in decades. Luna gasped. Elisa stepped back in shock. Maestro, I leave, Ozzy said softly, but with authority that echoed through the walls. Elisa opened her mouth, closed it, then hurried out of the shop without a word. The door slammed behind her. Luna stared at Ozzy, speechless. You defended me, she whispered. Ozzy smiled gently. I didn't defend you, he said. I defended the truth. Luna's tears, her tears came suddenly, not from sadness, not from pain, but from relief, from validation, from finally being seen. Her hands trembled as she held the edge of the painting she once believed nobody would ever understand, but Ozzy understood it more than anyone. She looked at him through tears. You really think I'm good? She whispered. Ozzy stepped closer. Luna, you're not good. He paused. You're extraordinary. Her breath caught. You painted something the world rarely sees, the soul behind the legend. Luna didn't know what to say. So she said the only thing she felt. Thank you. Ozzy shook his head. No, he whispered. Thank you for seeing me. The offer that changed her fate is. Looked at the painting one last time. Luna, he said, I want this painting. Her heart stopped. But I told you, it's not for sale. Ozzy nodded. I know, but I'm not asking to buy it. She blinked, confused. I'm asking, he hesitated, to borrow it. Borrow it. Ozzy smiled. I want to take it to a place where millions of people will see it. A beat, not in a gallery, not in an auction. His voice softened. But on my next album cover. Luna's mouth fell open. I want the world to see what you saw in me, Ozzy said, and I want you to stand beside me when we reveal it. Luna's knees almost gave out. Her dream, the one she never dared to dream, was suddenly standing right in front of her. Ozzy, I don't know what to say. He tapped her shoulder with his cane gently. Say yes. And Luna whispered, yes. When destiny brings the artist to the stage, Luna had never been on an airplane. She had never left Italy. She had never imagined she would travel beside Ozzy Osbourne, not as a fan, not as a stranger he saved, but as someone whose art he was about to share with the world. For the first hour of the flight, she sat silently, hands gripping the armrests, staring at clouds like they were paintings she couldn't understand. Ozzy, sitting beside her, chuckled. You look like you're about to fight the sky, he joked. Luna blushed. I've never flown before. Ozzy smiled warmly. Well, I've fallen off stages, fallen off bikes, fallen off hotels, but never fallen from a plane. So you're safe. His humor eased her nerves, but beneath the laughter was something deeper, a bond formed from pain and survival. The pressure of FAM. When they landed in London, Luna stepped into a world she had only seen on screens, cameras, security, loud voices, flashing lights. Ozzy grabbed her hand gently. Stay close. They don't bite. Most of them. Reporters rushed toward Ozzy. Maestro, who is the girl? Ozzy, is this your new artist? Ozzy, what's the painting about? Is this a new album? A memoir? A tribute? Luna froze, but Ozzy put his arm around her shoulders confidently. This, he said proudly, is Luna Marchetti, the artist behind the most important painting of my life. The reporters went silent. Camera flashes exploded. Luna felt her breath catch. Nobody had ever said her name with pride before. Nobody had ever introduced her with honor. But Ozzy did. The reveal, a moment the world watched. The next day was the big reveal, in a grand hall where Ozzy announced his upcoming album and its cover art. The hall was massive. Gold pillars, chandeliers, red carpet. Luna felt like she didn't belong. I'm scared, she whispered. Ozzy squeezed her Han, you belong here more than anyone. A massive velvet curtain covered the painting on stage. Thousands of fans filled the room. Millions watched online. Ozzy stepped up to the microphone. My whole life, he said, I've been called the Prince of Darkness, but even darkness has moments of light. Crowd roared. He continued, years ago, I gave a few words of hope to a stranger in the rain. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know what she was going through. I just knew she needed to hear that her story wasn't over. Luna felt tears forming. Ozzy pointed toward her. That girl grew up to paint the moment that saved her, and unknowingly painted the moment that saved me, too. Gasps, whispers, tears. Then, Ozzy pulled the cord, the curtain dropped, and the painting was revealed. The man who saved my soul. The entire hall went silent. People cried instantly. The emotional punch was too strong. The silhouette, the lamppost, the rain, the reflection of Ozzy's younger and older self, the truth, the pain, the redemption. It wasn't just art, it was a confession of two souls who saved each other. Without knowing it, fans cheered, critics bowed. The world froze at the sight of a painting made by an unknown artist, who was unknown no more. The message from her fatter after the show. Luna was taken backstage. She sat alone for a moment to breathe. In her trembling hands she held an envelope Ozzy had given her. Earlier that morning, I think this belongs to you, he'd said. Luna didn't understand, not until she opened it. Inside was a letter in her father's handwriting. Her heart stopped. She unfolded it with shaking fingers. Luna, if you're reading this, it means you kept the shop alive. It means you kept painting. It means you kept living. I met a musician once in London, a kind man with tired eyes. He said art saves more lives than people realize. I believe someday you will save someone too. Keep painting, keep feeling, and keep living. For me, for you. Papa Luna collapsed into tears. Her father had met Ozzy years ago, long before Luna met him on the bridge. It wasn't coincidence, it was destiny. Two broken souls had been orbiting each other through time, waiting for the day their paths would finally cross for real. Ozzy entered the room silently. You okay? He asked gently. She looked up through tears. My father met you years ago. Ozzy smiled softly. I didn't remember at first, but when I saw that letter, it all came back. Luna's voice shook. It wasn't just me you saved. It was him. It was all of us. The final decision, a new LAFIZ took her hands. Luna, he said, you're not just an artist anymore. You're a story the world needs. She wiped her tears. I'm ready, she whispered, for the world to see me. Ozzy laughed. The world already sees you. Then he stepped back, softened his voice, and asked, so, ready to change your life? Luna nodded. She was ready. For the first time in her life, she was ready. One last question before they left the hall. Luna turned to Ozzy. Why did you come into my shop that day? She asked softly. Ozzy shrugged with a gentle smile. I wasn't looking for art, he said. I was looking for something real. He paused and I found you. Luna smiled through tears. You found me twice, she whispered. Ozzy shook his head. No, you found yourself. I just reminded you where to look. Epilogue, full circle within months. Luna's painting went viral. Her father's shop became a landmark. She traveled with Ozzy as the official artist for his tour. Her story became a documentary, and the world finally saw the girl who once stood on a bridge, choosing life, and every interview, every stage, every moment. Luna repeated the same words Ozzy once gave her. Your story isn't over yet. Thank you for watching this emotional story. If you love Ozzy Osbourne, then share this video and help us reach our 1,000 subscribers target. Now prove your love. Don't forget to subscribe to Voices of Darkness, like the video, and share it with your friends.